like Hasidim, right?
Says the Baal Tanya. So we said about how there's the lev, right? The heart of a person. And there's the moach, there's the brain. The lev is the place of the emotions. And then there's the right side and the left side. Left side is what? Is where a person can mitutikud for klipat noga, right? That's where a person has all his emotions, where he can go and uplift or downgrade. And then you have the right side of the heart, which is the avat Hashem. On the right side, right? The halal yemini en bodam. There is no dam over there. It says lev chacham limino. It says the lev of the wise is to the right side, because that's where the nefesh elokit, that's where the godly soul rests, and that's where a person has his love for Hashem. When a person has holy love for Hashem and fear of Hashem, that's in his right side of his heart spiritually. And therefore a person has to know, that's when we speak about the heart and the psukim, right? Hashem will remove, and the pasuk will remove the orla on your heart. That's the covering of your heart. It's talking about the spiritual heart that we're mentioning right now. And where do you use to keep your heart on fire? To keep your heart motivated in the service of Hashem, you need to always connect your brain to your heart. We said many times that the biggest distance between two objects is the distance between your brain and your heart. The person has to make sure they're always connected. When you do what you know and you live by what you know, that's when you're motivated and on fire for Hashem. But if you don't, you know, but you don't do, you don't feel motivated, like Esav. What did Esav do? Esav knew a lot. He used to pretend and come to his father and say, how do you take maser from salt? And all these kind of questions. He knew a lot, but he didn't do. His heart was not there. His brain was there, his heart not there. Imagine a guy goes he's in a coma, Hasa Shalom, right? And the father tells him, that they tell the father, he's your son, his heart is great. He's pumping, he's alive. Oh, Baruch Hashem. Yeah, but he's brain dead. His brain doesn't work. What? Yeah, he's in a coma. The worst news ever. That's horrible. He's so sad. Person has to have both. You can't have just a good heart and no brain. You can't have no brain, and you can't have a brain. You have no heart. The person knows a lot, but he doesn't do what he knows. He just does whatever he wants, whatever he feels like. So you need to have a connection. You have to have connection between the two, and that's the connection between Abba and Ima to Zera and Pin, right? The bottom 7 sfirot, they have to be connected to the top 3 sfirot. And that's how you're really going to be the Jew you're supposed to be. Person has to have such a simcha, a joy. A big part of the service of Hashem is our joy. The highest parts of your soul gets fed from the joy, the attitude you do the mitzvot. What is a person looking for? What does this whole world run on? This whole world runs on joy and happiness. Today, everybody's looking for it to be happy. They want to be happy. So what? A person can come and say, oh, slichot, oh my goodness, wake up so early, slichot. How long is that attitude going to last? How long is he going to go to slichot? He's going to have a big test. He's going to have an alarm go off 4:45 a.m. He's going to say, oh, I have to get up for slichot. I don't want to. Does that really make me happy? We know what makes me happy? To roll over and go to sleep in a pillow, and that'll make me happy. That'll make me feel good. And that'll make me, that's more exciting for me. But a person who looks at slichot and mitzvot as a source of joy, I connect to my Creator. I'm going to go and be able to bring myself blessing. I'm going to go and be able to fulfill my purpose in this world, as being a Jew and doing my mitzvot. So of course he's going to overcome the desire for it to sleep, and he's going to say, this makes me more happy than that. And a person who says, I overslept, I missed the slichot, how could I do that? I wanted to come close to Hashem, he does it from love. So of course he's going to be able to overcome. So if a person has to work on the simcha, the main source that we said before, simcha, the same letters of simcha is machshava. But simcha, the same letters machshava. The main way you think is going to go and determine if you have joy in your service of Hashem. People think that mitzvot is like a labor you have to do for Hashem. You're supposed to do it because Hashem said so, 100%. But you're also supposed to enjoy it. You're supposed to enjoy your service of Hashem. If you don't, something's missing. It's not going to last. So therefore, כאשר עיני החכם, אשר בראשו במוח חוכמתו בינתו, מסתכלים בעיקר דמלכה. When a person who's wise, he sees the greatness of Hashem, tifrato gdulato, how splendor and how amazing Hashem is, ad en heker, to no limits, and sof etachlit, no one has full understanding of Hashem. So then, of course, you're going to go and want to come close to Hashem. Imagine a guy, lahavdil. He goes and he sees a billionaire. He sees a big sports player. He sees a very famous person. He's all of a sudden he wants to come close to. All of a sudden, give me your signature. All of a sudden, you want to talk to him. Why? Because his greatness is just it's like a magnet. It brings you close. So when you study more about Hashem's greatness, you'll also be more magnetized towards HaKadosh Baruch Hu. You also have a joy and want to connect to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And that, you need your brain to give that to your heart. Your heart is not going to, we don't press the button, all of a sudden I have emunah. All of a sudden I want to serve Hashem. You have to study something, you have to understand something, and then give that advice to your heart. All the midot you want to influence, they all need chokhmah bin adat from the brain. They all need influence of knowledge from the brain. That's why all the mitzvot, we're always looking for mohin. Mohin, what's mohin? Mohin, mohin de galut, mohin de katnut. Person has greater consciousness. Some people have lower consciousness. Some people are very aware of why they are in the world and how the things really work and really how Hashem is behind the scenes of everything. And some people have lower consciousness. They think my boss paid me. They think the government runs the world. They think that this is the source of this problem. We have to have a better army. Then we're going to beat them. And they forget that Hashem is behind the scenes of all these things. And they have a lower consciousness. So the person has to realize that depending on your consciousness is going to change how you behave and how you react to everything in the world. So now he says, however, a person has to know that both the sides of your heart, they're going to go and be pushing for control of your heart. There's the right side, there's the left side, your animalistic desires, your holy desires for Hashem, they're going to battle. And they have to have fuel. Every side needs ammo. Okay, what's the ammo for the right side? Yetzer Tov is Torah. If you have Torah, you have the vaccine, you have the immunization against Yetzer Hara. You're going to be able to beat the Yetzer Hara. The Gemara says if you don't have Torah, you don't have Hashem helping you, there's no way you'll beat the Yetzer Hara. Yetzer Hara is genius. He is amazing at tricking every single person. He'll sell you every lie in the world and put a whole spell under you, and he's going to go and give you a whole story and a whole balagan and a whole this. And you know how the Yetzer Hara tricks you? Guys, we're trying to wake up in the morning. Well, why should I wake up so early? I'm tired. Yetzer Hara says, it's okay. You need to pray good. You need to have strength. Pray the later minyan. You pray the later minyan, and then, and then when he wakes up with the second alarm for later minyan, no, but, you need to pray with kavanah. You're going to be rushed. It's not enough time. You have to go to work. It's better that you pray home. That way you pray slowly. You have kavanah and this. And he tells you each time you want to do a mitzvah, he tells you like a different reason why you don't need to do it. He tricks you in the end. You don't pray nothing, you don't do nothing, and Yetzer Hara says, gotcha, I got you. And why? Because the Yetzer Hara is chacham. So, but he's so chacham, I'll never be more chacham than him. So that's why you need something above nature, called Torah and Hashem. You need to have something called asiyat d'shmaya, assistance from above. If you don't have that, there's no way you'll beat it. So what's the ammo for the Yetzer Hara? Ammo for Yetzer Hara is averot. If you do mitzvot and you get the siyat d'shmaya from above, your Yetzer Tov. If you go and have, averot, avera, goreret avera, one avera leads to another avera. So therefore, you're feeding the Yetzer Hara, the klipa. Now your heart is that much closer to the Yetzer Hara. So now when he speaks, it's gonna. The question is, every person in their mind, they're like a CEO with a negotiation table, and all the chairmen are sitting. So now Gahava says this, and desire says that, jealousy says that, but humility, he's on the back of the table, he says over there, and then you have the person who's giving chesed, he says this, and the desire for breed says that. Everybody's negotiating. The question is, who are you going to listen to on the negotiating table? Who's your main advisor? The person has to make sure the main advisor is his right side, not his left side. As we know that Yaakov and Esav, they're in the womb. Chazal tell us, right? What does it mean they were fighting inside the womb? It means Ritzah, running. When she used to pass by the house of idol worship, Esau was smacking. Right? He passed by the Beit Knesset. Yaakov was excited. Same thing inside a person's heart. When a person sees Averah, left side, boom, 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 boom. And he goes and he sees Misvot, big shiur, big chidush, right side, boom, 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 boom. And the person has to know that there's a fight inside, and you have to realize you could easily fall. As it says this past week's parasha, each person is considered a small city. Everybody's their own little world, right? There's a certain people who live in your world, certain people you associate with, and what? They're fighting, the Yesara and Yesato fighting control for the city. Who's going to control the city? And a person has free will to listen to. Rav Dessler says something very deep. He says that, imagine a guy who grew up in like a Jewish community like this, very nice. Would anybody in our community ever think to steal a car? Let's say you go to see it in front of your house. Car double parked, nobody's inside, keys inside. Would you ever have a desire to go and jump in the car and drive away and steal a car? Never. Nobody amongst us would ever think to do that, right? But there's some communities where there's no Torah and they don't believe in God, right? So what happens? So when they see a double parked car, yeah, why not? Take it for a ride. What happens, it's worth it. So maybe you can sell it for parts. Who knows? Who will catch me? They'll catch me and they'll put me in jail for 6 hours. They'll throw me back on the street. What's the big deal? They think like this. And what? For them, it's a real test. When they see a double parked car, nobody's inside. It's a real test for them to not to go to steal it. Well, how is that? Why is that? So if Dessler says, every person has a different level where his free will operates. If you're very low, so your free will is here. Test is to steal the car, not to steal the car. But if you grow and you're raised different, and you have Torah in your life, so now these things, you become past these things. These things don't speak to you anymore. So now even a higher, now only a smaller test or a smaller sin is a test now. So a person has to work on what? Always raising the bar and making all these avonot, all these sins, like nothing to him. He has to make it like it doesn't speak to you. And that way, it's less and less of a test. The more higher and higher, you go, your free will doesn't get affected by these things anymore. That's why they say that all the averot that the tzaddikim did, if we would understand it, they would never have done it. There's averot is in the smallest of the small calculations that they made. The smallest of Hashem is so strict with them, like the hair's breadth. That's when they made a mistake. If we would understand it, they would never do it. If we understood the sin, that sin doesn't speak to them. They would never do it. It's so obvious that they shouldn't do that. So where is their sin? Their sin is in the smallest of details in a very high level, and a person has to push himself to get to that level. And a person who doesn't push himself by studying Torah, so he'll fall for the smallest things. Yetzirah, and the person doesn't study Torah. What does he do? Come, let's go to the club. Come, like you whistle to a dog. Come, let's go. So when a person goes, he runs. He has no power to fight him. But a person who studies Torah, he says, no, what do you mean? I can't go there. That place is a sword. I'm going to do averot over there. Now the answer has to be chacham. He has to go say, no, it's okay. You'll save the guys that are there. They'll see you. They'll be embarrassed. They'll leave. You're going to do kiruv over there. And what? Yitzhak has to start becoming with better claims. And now your sin becomes smaller and smaller and more detail oriented, not just a very, very big sin. Therefore, a person who studies, there's a famous story of Ender this, they said that he saw a heretic, very big heretic. And he told him, listen, I don't understand, why don't you serve Hakadosh Baruch Hu? He said to him this, said to him that, and he spoke, the way he spoke about the mitzvot and Torah, he said, listen to me very carefully. He said to me, the God that you believe, I also don't believe in. The God that you don't believe, I also don't believe in. Meaning, the way you speak about Torah mitzvot and the way you view it, I see that you barely know any, you don't really know what it is. You think you know, but it's not really that. And if I would know what you know, I also wouldn't serve Hashem. The God that you don't believe in, I also don't believe in. Now, that's why you have to know the God that I believe in. You have to know what I know. And then you'll see there's no question on how, of course you have to serve Hashem. Problem is, you don't know what I know. You should start studying. Baruch Adonai Olam.